Hey loves, how are you today? I want to show you something exciting is happening at the garden plot. Let's see if you can see this. Ta-da! We have the beginnings of tomatoes. This one little plant is working hard and is growing. Some little babes are starting to come up. And then there's, oh my gosh, and here's another little one. Oh, can you see this? Probably not. The little beginnings of a little tomato baby. So cute, right? And then I think we have some other beginnings happening down here. Let's see if I can show you this too. Ta-da! Right in the middle there, right? Again, don't mind the shiny. It was hot today. Really wasn't hit with anything today in terms of life lessons or deep secrets around self-care. It's a gorgeous day. The cloud cover, I wish you could have seen it. It was just beautiful. And I guess the word for today is to just encourage you to know that, as we're moving through this journey and intentionally creating space to do the deeper work and hold space for those things that come up, right? Sometimes what comes up is painful. Sometimes what comes up is uncomfortable. Sometimes what comes up is difficult to process for various reasons. And if that's where you're sitting, it's okay, right? It's okay for you to move through it how you need to move through it. It's okay for you to spend the time that you need to process through it. It's okay for you to feel it. It's okay for you to talk about it. It's okay for you to take ownership of how you want to come out the other side, right? And know that it's not about anybody else. It's about you. And I say that because boundaries are a good thing at times, right? Especially when you're processing with people who are trying to tell you how to feel, or tell you what to do, or tell you how to move through something, rather than creating space to ask you questions that help you to process how you want to move through it, how you want to work through it, right? And I guess an example of that is I've been sitting with something this week, right? This week has been a really difficult week for me in that it is the anniversary of a really difficult event in my life and series of events in my life. And this year, it came with some really strong emotions that I wasn't anticipating or expecting, and they were really big, and they have taken a bit of time for me to sit with and to process and to ask myself the same questions that I'm sharing with you about processing through your feels, right? And so some of that is, that emotion surprised me. I wasn't anticipating that. What's underneath that? And as I took the time to dig a few layers down of what was underneath, it was really painful, really hurt, right? And so I had to be very intentional this week about not rushing through that, not deflecting through that, not pushing it away, just to move past it, but to really hold space for it and to let myself work through it in a way that allowed me to feel, but not get stuck. Allowed me to process the things that were going on underneath. I learned some things about myself, and I was also able to release some expectations and projections that I had internalized from from other places. So there was a healing work that happened And I did reach out to a trusted friend of mine during this time and asked her to hold space for me, which she is doing, and she's asking me really good questions and is supporting me through this process. And so I shared all this to say, again, I'm doing this. I'm living it. I'm not just somebody who's encouraging you to do it. I live these principles. I live for self-improvement, for self-betterment, for the expansion of my own personal growth, and also the expansion of compassion for other people, right? And so I routinely and regularly submit to these practices of self-care and this intentional work of stilling this chattery stuff and figuring out what's underneath all of it so that I can live a more whole and fulfilled life. And so if you're in a season where you're sitting with something that's taking time to work through, that's okay. It's not a race. There's no time schedule. It's not about other people. It's about you and the work that you want to do internally so that you can grow in the ways that you are seeking to.